Well, a very good evening to you, and of course tonight, Edinburgh What the Fuck Monarchs should have been racing Newcastle in the Knockout Cup. Instead, we're going to go back to 1999, the 8th of July, when the Diamonds did indeed come calling, this time in the National Premier Trophy. I hope you're all well, and I hope you're all bearing up. My name is Liam Rudden.
Yeah, I'm John McGilvery. The Monarchs and Newcastle Diamonds have had many hotly contested matches over the years, home and away, and 1999 was an especially intriguing year. Diamonds had won both home and away in the National Trophy, and Monarchs had likewise at the KO Cup. So when the teams met in the semi-final of the Premier National Trophy, it was something of a decider. First leg was at Armadale, with Monarchs keen to build a big lead, and Les and Aidan Collins standing in as guests. The Monarchs that night then at number 1 was Les Collins, at number 2 Stuart McDonald, number 3 Kevin Little, and number 4 Ross Brady. At number 5 it was Peter Carr, at 6 Aidan Collins, and at 7 Blair Scott.
Thanks, John. Yeah, and lining up for Newcastle back in 1999, at number 1 it was Robert Eriksson, number 2 Paul Gold, 3 was David Walsh, with Daryl Keats at number 4. Jesper Olsen was 5, Mark Blackwell 6, and Stephen Jones in at 7. So without any further ado, let's join Mike Hunter in the commentary box and let's go racing.
From Welcome to a very, very sunny and warm Armadale Stadium. Tonight the visitors, the Newcastle Diamonds. It's the semi-final of a cup match. Now, we've spoken to a lot of the Newcastle riders over the period, and we thought it was time to speak to a man who puts in hours and hours and hours of work out here at Armadale on the track. And as you can now see from the garb, he's just come off the tractor. Alan Bridget. Alan, how's the track been standing up with all this hot weather this week?
It's always a problem with the sunshine, you know. You've just got to keep going and get as much water as you can as early as you can, and hopefully to keep some moisture into the bottom, you know. It's just a thankless task on a day like this, but hopefully we've mastered it.
Right, so will you maybe have to water round about the middle of the match?
Well, we maybe have to use a little sprayer which just sort of kind of damps the top down, which we do use occasionally. There's a bit of cloud cover now, so we might be lucky, but we might have to damp it down after a few races.
Now, the team had a bad weekend away, as it were, for injuries, with James getting hurt at Exeter, Newport, and now we've got Jonathan Swales out. And how do you see it going to tonight's match?
Well, hopefully we've had our bad luck now, and the injuries will go and haunt somebody else. It's always difficult. It's a bit disjointed, you know, one out and one back. But you know, we've been lucky that we've had guests who've tried very hard for us, and we couldn't fault them. So hopefully there'll be another familiar face who'll do the same tonight.
Yeah, if we can get the team settled down again, Alan, where do you realistically see us finishing for the season?
Yeah. Well, I mean, we've had a bit of a hiccup now, but we're still in there. We need Sheffield to have a bit of bad luck, and we need to get ourselves settled again, as you say. You know, to get it was a blow to young David, because he was someone who could always get us 2 or 3 or 4 points at home, you know, and it's difficult to get a 3-point at all who can do that, you know.
Well, I'm sure we're going to have a really terrific match. You better watch your back here, Craig. You got a wet cameraman. Still going to have a terrific match, but Newcastle side are 1-7, aren't they? Especially around here.
They're always good here. They're always out through the years, and these are no exception. You know, some track experts, and it won't be easy, that's for sure.
Right, okay, I'm going to go away. Change for your team manager. Thanks a lot. Thank you. Well, we've come close to a few things here at doing interviews, but the water bowser hasn't been one of them over the years. However, the man who over the years has been putting the commentary to the racing, it's Mike Hunter. It's over to Mike for heat number 1.
Well, into this very important Premier National Trophy semi-final first leg. The Monarchs in a little bit of a patched up state tonight against a full-strength KBS Diamonds team, although that does not include Lee Dickon, who hasn't been permitted to be included in the Diamonds team. It didn't conform to the rules, so Daryl Keats is back in his place at number 4, but it's the Diamonds team that's been doing well most of the season. They won home and away against Monarchs in the National Trophy qualifiers. Monarchs returned the compliment in the KO Cup, and this is round 3, if you like. And in this opening race we've got Robert Ericsson riding from gate 1, Les Collins guesting for the Monarchs in place of James Greaves going from gate 2, Paul Gould's in gate 3, and Stuart MacDonald in gate 4. And Ericsson's away. Gould's got a good start too. Les Collins cuts to the inside line, looking for a way through on the inside of Ericsson. Gould's got caught on the outside there. He'll not find it too easy out there, although he's attacking Les Collins again. But Stuart MacDonald's right on his tail. It's a close one. Les Collins swinging to the outside of Ericsson, looking for the drive. And he's right on Ericsson's back wheel after 2 laps. Likewise, Stuart MacDonald trailing Paul Gould and looking threatening. Here comes Les on the outside line round the pits turn. Look at this from Collins, cutting back up the inside, and he's gone through. What a pass by Les Collins. He's been turning on this form for Glasgow. Ericsson coming back round the outside again, powering into the last bend. Collins inside, Ericsson outside, Ericsson on the line. I think Ericsson's got the best line. Oh, neck and neck. Who got that? Well, I think Les Collins might have got it by a tyre. What an opener. A Les Collins special, and Ericsson fighting back in sensational style. Robert doesn't know the race is finished. Has Les Collins a problem there? We hope not, but I think he might have got it by a tyre or so, and if so, that's a 3-all, and we hope that there aren't machine problems there for Les.
Check in with us. We'll play with this Inside the result of heat number 1. Nice ball. So the show goes in on the tape sound for the referee's decision on that one. The low score is definitely here tonight. We went out for ratio. The goes from Ericsson number 1 for the Diamonds. We're ready to go. Check in with West. We'll play with just a second. One referee for Douglas. Inside the result of heat number 1. The low score is definitely here tonight. We went out for ratio. The goes from Ericsson number 1 for the Diamonds. We're ready to go.
Heat 2 then, and another Collins in this one. It's Aidan, son of Les, who's guesting, I suppose, for the Monarchs tonight in the number 6 position. He rides from gate 1. Gate 2, Mark Blackwell. Gate 3, it's Blair Scott. Gate 4, it's Stephen Jones, who was a Monarch last season. And it's Blackwell who's made the start. Blair Scott, I think, has worked his way past Stephen Jones after a bad start, and Aidan Collins has as well. Well, this is a bit of a surprise. Mark Blackwell led a race earlier in the season here. He's really scored very few points for the Diamonds, or Workington indeed. But he's going well here. Blair Scott's got onto his tail now, looking for a way through on the inside, and Aidan Collins is hanging on to that third place. So the Monarchs look to Blair Scott to pass Blackwell up front. They'll need to show some ingenuity to find a way through. Blair swung to the outside. And Newcastle will not be expecting it to be this way around for their side. They might have thought Stephen Jones might win it, but I think Mark Blackwell's going to, unless Blair can pull off a magical last bend pass. But he can't, he's a length down at the finish. So that's a shared race as well, and Mark Blackwell showing unexpected form. Unexpected, that is, if you hadn't seen his race when he led Kevin Little here earlier in the season. So 2 races gone, 6 points each, and a lot of interest so far. Heat 3, David Walsh comes into the inside gate. Alongside him, fellow fast gator Ross Brady. It'll be interesting to see which of these two gets to the first turn ahead. Gate 3, Daryl Keats, who hasn't retired. And in gate 4, coming back after a couple of weeks off with a broken wrist, Kevin Little. Oh. Well, Ross Brady made the jump first there, and I think he'll be excluded. Yes, indeed. So obviously aware of David Walsh inside him. Tried too hard. Well, Blair Scott takes Ross Brady's place. Walsh, Scott, Keats and Little. And Walsh is away well. Kevin Little, a good burst to get himself clear of Daryl Keats, but he hasn't quite caught David Walsh. David's been in great form recently, and he invariably makes the start, but he can be caught. And Kevin's certainly chasing, and I must say the Monarchs captain, after 2 laps, is looking in quite good nick there. Daryl Keats, I think, has stopped at the back. His partner's doing the work for him. Keats has actually got going again, but he's a long way behind. And there's no way Kevin's going to catch Walsh from there. But it is a satisfactory comeback ride, at least for the Monarchs captain, and a more than satisfactory opening ride for David Walsh, who I think will be quite pleased that the track isn't too deep. He tends to go better when it's just moderately grippy or even slick, and he looked as though he liked it that time. So it's 9 points each after 3 races. Heat number 4, Stephen Jones has the inside gate this time. Blair Scott in gate 2. Jesper Olsen, captain of the Diamonds, rides from gate 3. And Peter Carr, top average man for the Century Mortgages Monarchs, rides from gate 4. So always expectation when Olsen and Carr meet, two of the fastest men in the Premier League. And Jesper's away quicker. Peter Carr trying a really extravagant cutback. Is it going to work for him? My goodness, that's unbelievable. What a first turn by Peter Carr. Came from nowhere. His partner Blair Scott though is at the back. And the Monarchs are tending to get only one man going in each race. That was an absolute scorcher of a first bend by Carr. He was on the outside and he hadn't gated well. Turned back and came right under Olsen with one of his real trademark bursts out the fourth corner. Stephen Jones still hanging on to that third place. Peter Carr's turning very early each time and he's almost turning too early. But he's a long way clear of Jesper now and he looks in great form. At the back, Blair Scott's making heavy weather of it against Stephen Jones. He's got himself trapped on the inside again. Trying to squeeze through but he hasn't done it. That's a very poor ride by Blair because he had chance after chance there. And again it's a shared race to leave the score at 12 all, but a magnificent first corner by Peter Carr and we're getting royally entertained so far. Heat number 5 looks an evenly matched one. Kevin Little, comes from the inside gate. Gate 2, Paul Gould with a good third in his opener. Ross Brady, who hasn't turned a wheel yet because he touched the tapes first time out, he's in gate 3, and Robert Eriksson rides from gate 4. Oh, Ross looked as though he was dicing with the tapes that time, but he got away with it, unless the red lights are coming on, which they don't seem to be. And it's Little and Brady who hit the pits turn, with Robert Eriksson trying very hard to squeeze in between them. I'm sure Ross moved a touch early there, I'm sure he did. But he didn't hit the tapes. The referee could have pulled it back. Kevin's going to have to get a bend on if he's going to stay ahead of Robert Eriksson. He certainly let Ross build up a lead. And the young man doing very, very well. But Eriksson's under severe pressure, rather Little is. Eriksson's gone through, I think, unless Little can come back again, which he has in style. Can Eriksson turn back under him again here? It's a chase for the bottom corner and Little's got there. He's gone wide. And what a cracking 5-1 by the home side there. Brilliant racing again. Kevin Little really making hard work of it because he had to come back on Robert Eriksson. He did it. Ross Brady got away with a flying start, I think, really. And it's a 5-1 to the home side, a very, very important one. The first break in the scoring, really. Heat number 6, Jesper Olsen has gate 1 this time. Stuart MacDonald comes from gate 2. Mark Blackwell in gate 3 with a win in his first ride. And Les Collins with a super victory in the opening race. He rides from gate 4. Tapes seem to have broken. From the inside and Les Collins coming flying around the outside. Who's going to get to the front? It's Jesper, I think. just ahead as they hit the pits turn. So Les is being asked to do it from the back again. You might find Jesper just a shade quicker than Robert Eriksson. Stuart McDonald's comfortably in third, I think. Jesper Olsen's away. Oh, McDonald's down. And Blackwell had to lay down, so I think really Blackwell has to be awarded the third there. And the race may have been stopped, in fact. A red flag was shown. Oh dear, so Stuart McDonald will have to be excluded there for a completely idiotic fall for no reason, right on his own. So that's points thrown away, but it does give Les Collins a second chance. So there's been a delay while Mark Blackwell got his machinery sorted. He presumably damaged something when he laid down to miss Stuart McDonald, and this race does give Les Collins a second chance, although he need to go pretty quickly to get round the outside of Jesper Olsen on that first corner. I think Les was a beaten man the first time. He's a bit behind as they hit the first turn this time. He's swinging around the outside, but it's Olsen who leads down the back straight again. Much the same positions. Well, we've seen many a miracle from Les Collins, and he's still turning it on through at Ashfield, where he rides for the Tigers now. Can he do it here? He's got to catch Jesper first, and I think he's just a yard down on pace on the Danish man. Trying everything to get to grips with him. Into the last lap, Olsen's a good 10 yards clear. There's no miracle that time, and the Diamonds take a race advantage to cut the Monarchs' lead to 2, and Stuart McDonald will need to think about that. He's the man who let the side down there. We'll come into heat number 7, and it'll be Peter Carr coming from gate 1 when he's ready. In gate 2 he's got David Walsh, a rider who he sometimes has a bit of trouble with because he tends to be beaten out the start. In gate 3 it'll be Aidan Collins having his second ride, and Daryl Keats rides from gate 4. First corner, but he'll need to turn tight to hold Peter Carr off, and he hasn't turned tight enough. Peter's through, just moved David over there. Sometimes David needs moved over, but Aidan's at the back and Daryl's got third at the moment. Into the last lap for Peter Carr, keeping his eye on Walsh. So a good win there, but again it's a shared race with Daryl Keats taking the third. and just 2 points in it as we go into a very important heat number 8. So that was an interesting first lap there between these two. They're bound to have met many times, and Peter had to use a little bit of force to make sure he got all the way through. Well, Heat 8's the kind of race that could finish in any order, and it's going to be very important indeed. Blair Scott rides from gate 1, Stephen Jones is in gate 2, Stuart MacDonald in gate 3, and Paul Gould comes from gate 4. Jones has lost it badly at the start, and MacDonald's gone ahead with Gould on his outside, trying to go round the outside. Who's in second? It's Gould just. Blair Scott nipping away at Paul's inside there. Poor Stuart fell last time out, but the Monarchs will be looking for a victory now. He's got into this position. Paul Gould buzzing away. Blair Scott just about hitting the fence there. This is Monarchs' two out of form riders, quite frankly. Stuart knows now where Paul Gould is, and it's right on his back wheel is the answer. Paul's generally an outside attacker. He's on the inside here, but he's not so comfortable there. He's pressing hard, and he's gone through, I think. Super riding by Gould. Where's MacDonald going? He's stayed on, but he's lost the lead. And Gould has taken a crucial victory for the Diamonds there. Super race once again. Stuart MacDonald will be annoyed. The Monarchs management won't be too happy either, but you can't take it away from Paul Gould for a great ride, forcing his way through on a line that isn't his favourite. A great ride by Paul. Heat number 9, Ross Brady is on gate 1 this time. Will he risk going for a flyer? Gate 2 it's Jesper Olsen. Gate 3 it's Kevin Little. Gate 4 it's Mark Blackwell. And this Monarchs pairing got a 5-1 over Robert Eriksson last time. It might be asking a lot to do the same with Jesper. Ross has lifted a fraction, and it's Brady and Olsen level to the first corner. There's a gap there for Kevin Little, and Brady and Little have gone ahead. Well, tremendous power tactics on the first corner there. Brady and Little out in front. Little just waits for Ross to go past him there. Tremendous teamwork by the captain. Once again, Olsen is trying to come through the middle. Brady on the outside, Little on the inside. Olsen straining every muscle. 2 laps gone. All eyes on the action. Olsen's there again on the outside. Little trying to control the race from the inside. It's so hard with Jesper Olsen on your tail. Jesper's well placed for the dash up the inside this time, and he's almost level with Kevin Little there. He's gone inside the Monarchs captain. Big rush for the last corner. Ross Brady leads into the last turn. If he gets it right, he's won it. He's struggling, he's made it. What a race once again. We're getting fabulous racing tonight. That was another absolute corker there. Totally unselfish work by Kevin Little, who eventually lost the second place, but it allowed Ross Brady to get far enough clear. What a race. Terrific riding by Jesper Olsen as well. All 3 of them there turning in a classic once again. Monarchs lead by 4. Heat number 10, Stuart MacDonald has gate 1, Daryl Keats in gate 2, Les Collins in gate 3, David Walsh rides from gate 4. Ooh, Les, bad start. Up in the air by Les there, and he's got a lot of work to do now with Keats and Walsh teaming up in front. I don't think Daryl will hold out Les for long, but David Walsh might be more of a problem. And Stuart MacDonald hasn't got to grips with Darrow yet either. He's lining him up now. going for the big outside blast this time. Long way round. Roaring after Walt. Just one lap for Les Collins to pull off a spectacular pass. He's going for that big, oh dear, lifted there. Into the last corner, a couple of lengths down still. And David Walsh takes an important victory with Keats in third place. And Stuart McDonald again disappointing for the home side. So that's a big 4-2 to the Diamonds. They've cut the gap to 2 once again. And they'll be quite happy with the way things are going at the moment. Heat number 11, it's Paul Gould in gate 1. Important part with paid 5 from his first 3 for the Diamonds. Peter Carr is on gate 2, he's won both his races so far. Robert Ericsson rides from gate 3. And Aidan Collins has a tough task coming from gate 4. It's Aidan's ride, he got a point in his opening ride, but nobody's expecting miracles at this stage of young Aidan's career. So just 2 points in it, and the Monarchs really needing more than that from this first leg of the semi-final. And it's Gould and Carr to the first corner. I think Carr's gone ahead there round the first turn, so he hasn't got to do anything miraculous this time. Robert Ericsson is doing the chasing. Diamond sitting in second and third. And this doesn't look like one in which positions are likely to change. Peter does a big wide turn there, that's very unusual. Just practicing for later races perhaps. Fairly dramatic stuff from Carr there. Trying to make sure he wins by a big margin. He's a mile ahead now. Well, he doesn't usually give it as much throttle as that. That was fairly sensational riding by Peter Carr. Shared race, the gap stays at 2, and Peter Carr shows who's boss. Heat number 12, Mark Blackwell on gate 1. Could he produce another interesting ride from there? Kevin Little's on gate 2. David Walsh on gate 3. He hasn't been beaten out the start yet, and I'm sure he won't be. And in gate 4, Blair Scott. Not quite enough points coming for Blair yet tonight. He's got a couple of important rides. This one in heat 14 will be important. Blair needs to do the job. David Walsh again, he's so good from the start. Kevin Little's in second. I think Blair Scott's got round into third, which is what the Monarchs would be asking of him here. David Walsh really is quite a guy. You have to admire his ability to get out the start, and he's in very good form now, reminiscent of his 2 sparkling years at Glasgow when he dropped so few points. A win here will take him on to 11. And he's really flying at Brough Park these days as well. Shared race there then. The gap stays at 2 as we go into a very big heat, number 13.
I see the silver tonight right here. The share of the points in heat number 12 was 9. David Walsh from Newcastle number 3 points in the tournament.
Into heat number 13, the Century Mortgages Monarchs lead the KBS Diamonds by just 2 points. And remember, it's a 2-leg semi-final, of course. So Newcastle would probably settle for a narrow defeat, but they're not necessarily going to get that. In this one, anything could happen once again. Les Collins rides from gate 1. Robert Eriksson is in gate 2. Peter Carr rides from gate 3, he's unbeaten. And Jesper Olsen comes from gate 4. And I think it's Carr from the start. And the Monarchs don't really want a 5-1 here. And they're not going to get it because both the Diamonds have gone past Les Collins. Peter Carr leads the way. What the Monarchs would like is a 4-2, so they'll be looking to Les Collins to maybe nip past Robert Eriksson there at the back. And I think he could do just that. He's alongside Robert now, holding a tight line there, and he's gone through. Carr leads by a long way from Olsen. Is Olsen going to consider dropping back to third to give a golden double situation? I hope not. Peter Carr is miles clear. Jesper Olsen is in second. He's having a look to see where everybody is. And Jesper gets the second place, so that's playing fair. And the Monarchs take a 4-2, which I think is exactly what they wanted out of that race. And I don't think really anybody had any thoughts of fiddling anything. It was a straightforward race and another big win and a good start that time even for Peter Carr. He's got 12 out of 12. Just 2 to go and the Monarchs lead by 4 points. Very, very tight. And a big one here again. Daryl Keats comes off gate 1. He's ridden quite well for the Diamonds. Just a couple of points, but they're important ones. Blair Scott's in gate 2. Gate 3 it's Stephen Jones, and gate 4 it's Ross Brady, who's won his last 2 races after starting with a tape touch. And it's Keats, I think, with Brady coming round the outside. Brady has messed up and fallen off. He's still down on the track. Well, that's a bad one for the Monarchs. So Ross is out of the rerun, and that's 2 wins and 2 failures by Ross there. So Blair Scott's left to do a big job in the rerun. So it's Blair Scott on his own against Daryl Keats and Stephen Jones. And I think Daryl's made the start, has he? Blair, look, oh, and Daryl's down this time. Well, it's all happening in this one. Well, I think there's been a bit of watering going on to keep the track grippy, and it's had the effect of catching the riders out. It's caught out Ross Brady, it's caught out Daryl Keats. So Edinburgh may get away with a shared race. They had been hoping, I think, for an advantage, but they'll be very pleased if Blair Scott can stay where he is. And Stephen Jones has now come a cropper, and he'll have to be excluded, I think. He really must be excluded. The race surely should have been stopped there. He's come off the track anyway, so it doesn't actually matter. So Blair Scott has half a lap to go, and the Monarchs have taken a race advantage. Well, problems on the second turn indeed, and the race finishes as a 3-2 in the end. and the Century Mortgages Monarchs go into the last race 5 points ahead. Well, drama. There's been great racing tonight, not so much of the dramatic incidents, but in that race we made up for it.
Well then, let me just jump in here before Heat 15 to remind you that if you have any shout-outs or anyone you'd like to give a mention to on EMTV Rewind, just drop John and I a line. You can find us, John and Liam, at edinburghmonarchs.co.uk. That's the address to find us at. That's also the address if you have any questions for our Sunday lunch sessions, which this week are with Kai Thompson all the way from Australia. If you've enjoyed our previous Sunday lunch sessions with Sam Masters, Josh Pickering, James Sargent, you'll find them all now uploaded to the club website on the EMTV page. Do check them out. Some good chat there. The boys have always got something good to say. All these what the fuck Monarchs, who hopefully one day we will see on the track soon. John.
Yeah, thanks Liam, and just a note to Gold members, if you're an online Gold member, you should have received an email during the week with an update about your membership. If you haven't received your email, check your junk mail or get in touch with the club. And offline Gold members will receive a letter in the coming days. Well, thanks as always. It goes to What the Fork, the current Monarchs team sponsor, and we'll be back with our next EMTV Rewind on Tuesday, the 12th of May at 7:30 Edinburgh versus Kings Lynn on the 8th of June 2007. Enjoy Heat 15, and we'll see you on Sunday for Sunday lunch with Kai Thompson. Any questions, as Liam says, email John and Liam at edinburghmonarchs.co.uk. Stay safe.
Heat number 15, a really big one. The Monarchs lead by 5. It could be anything from 1 to 9 at the end of this race, and in a two-leg match that's a hell of a big difference. We've got Jesper Olsen coming off gate 1, unbeaten Peter Carr rides from gate 2, David Walsh is in gate 3, Les Collins is in gate 4, and I think the result of this race could go a long way to deciding the overall tie result. And it's Olsen and Walsh who've made the best starts. The Diamonds lead the way around the first corner. There's a gap there on the first corner, and it's Walsh and Carr who hit the pit's turn. Les Collins is in there as well. Carr and Walsh battling for the lead. Carr is inch ahead of David Walsh with a magnificent burst. Walsh trying to come back. Carr leads. He really had to work for it there. Les Collins was in a position to strike, but he's lost it. Peter Carr back in command again. The Diamonds looking to share it now. Just one lap for Les Collins, and I don't know if he can do anything from there. He's cut to the inside to make up some ground. Peter Carr screamed home for a 15-point maximum. Les Collins just hasn't quite squeezed through on the last bend, so the gap is 5 after an enthralling first leg semi-final, and I think the Diamonds may be slightly happier than the Monarchs after that, but it's still all to play for down at Brough Park. Peter Carr completes a 15-point maximum of immense quality. The Diamonds have ridden very well, have made no mistakes all night, and they are rewarded with a 5-point gap, which they've got to pull back in the second leg, which is on the 26th of July, but it should be a cracking meeting down there. 5 points just, the Monarchs lead. Mainly thanks to that man there, Peter Carr, a 15-point maximum, a great display. Well, the Century Mortgages Monarchs have won tonight by 47 points to 42. I think they might have hoped for a little more before the match started, but it was such a hard-fought meeting that I think it's a fair effort for them to have won by 5 against a very hard, tough and fast-gating Newcastle team who really proved quite an obstacle tonight. That's what we expected. We got a great match between two fully committed sides fighting for every point, and we can't ask for any more than that. On the home side, Les Collins guested and scored 8 from 5 rides, and you'd have to say that is a little bit down on what James Greaves might have scored. Stuart MacDonald got 2 from 4, a disappointing night again for Stuart. Kevin Little got 7 and 1 from 4, but that doesn't tell the full story because he spent a lot of his time backing up Ross Brady, and I think Kevin rode very well. Ross Brady got 6 from 4, which was 2 wins, a tape touch and a fall, which in a way is what you might expect of a slightly inexperienced but very talented young rider. Peter Carr got a glorious 15-point maximum, often missing the start, but his first bend work has to be seen to be believed, really. Aidan Collins got 1 and 1 from 3, and Blair Scott, a very important contribution, 8 and 3 from 6 at number 7. Not gaining every point he might have, but he certainly gained quite a lot of them. On the Newcastle side, Robert Ericsson got 5 from 4. Paul Gould got 5 and 2 from 4. Very important contribution there from Paul. David Walsh, a crucial contribution, 12 and 1 from 5. Daryl Keats got 4 and 1 from 4. Jesper Olsen 12 from 5. Mark Blackwell 4 from 4, starting with a win. And Stephen Jones 1 and 1 from 4. So a super match between two fully committed sides, as I said. I believe the second leg will be very much the same. We're looking forward to that one on the 26th of July down at Brough Park. It's going to be very close. The Diamonds maybe just have the edge at the moment. Super night Speedway though, that's it. Good night from Armadale.
We've got Peter Carr. Peter, another maximum for yourself and another win for the Monarchs tonight.
Yeah, I was making a few starts and coming from the back the odd times, but I think we needed it at the end of the meeting.
That must be about your 7 for 8 maximum this season at home. What's the ingredient to getting maximums?
I don't know, I got used to the track after a few years. I know where I'm going, but it does get hard at the end to do it. I have to put a bit of effort in, but I like doing it.
Last week we were away to Stoke, Newport in the Cup and Exeter. You said last week we needed a couple of wins to keep our league campaign going. Do you think we're still on track?
Well, we've made it harder for ourselves. Well, we lost at Exeter, but I forgot Newport with knockout cup. We made that hard, but we're doing all right. But we're making it hard for ourselves now. We need to get going a bit, really. I mean, tonight it wasn't that good, really. We might have enough points, but it's going to be really hard when we go to Newcastle. And if it's like this next week, then we won't go through to the knockout cup.
The track here in Newcastle isn't that similar, so how come both teams do well at each other's tracks?
Well, a lot of the Newcastle riders ride well here. Jesper, David Walsh always makes starts, Robert Ericsson, Gouldy. And there's a few in our team just struggling, really. It's just hard work, really, and if it's like this next week, then it will be hard work.
Obviously we've got your big meeting coming up as well soon, the motor show. Have we got any other riders that's going to give you a beating that night coming up?
Not yet, really. I've got Joe Screen coming, which he ain't much of a rider. He can only manage 5th in the Grand Prix, so I won't worry about him. Not really. I'm going to get on with it this week. I've been busy for a few weeks, but this week I'm going to get a few more riders together.
Is Louis, your brother, coming up yet? Do we know that?
Yeah, I've got Lewis coming up. I got Eric Monham for a few years ago. Him and Lewis are going to have a race. Charlie McKinnon and hopefully Nigel Crabtree.
Should be a good night anyway.
Yeah, hopefully. If it doesn't rain or anything, should have a good time.
Right, good luck for the rest of the season, Pete. We'll probably talk to you in a couple of weeks.
Thanks a lot.
Cheers.
Do you have any...
You right, Dick? Alright, we've got Les and Aidan Collins here. First father and son pairing to ride for the Monarchs ever. Les, what was it like riding alongside Aidan tonight for the Monarchs?
Good, yeah. I'm glad that John phoned up and booked us both in for tonight at short notice as it was. Aidan should have been ready for Coventry tonight at Peterborough, but obviously Premier League's certainly a bit more class than Youth Development League, so here he was, and then it was a double bonus when John said he could do with a replacement for James Greaves as well, so I fitted the bill there just about.
How do you think Aidan got on? Done quite well?
Yeah, so I'm pleased with the way Aidan went. It's certainly, even his rides after the meeting that he's just had now, he's just come on leaps and bounds just tonight, so it's only practice and experience, and the more track action he can get, the better he's going to be.
And what was it like racing the same team as your dad, Aidan? Experience?
Just the same, really. It's just like as if he was helping me in the pits, just alongside us, really. Just like Sammy had levers on. But I enjoyed it myself today anyway. It's a really good experience for me, and hopefully I can come up and do it again, really, and be a bit better.
And how do you think your dad got on out there, facing it?
Great, but there's not really enough dirt out there for him, really, I don't think. But yeah, did alright, and the team did well as well, so that's what counts, isn't it?
Going back to you now, Les, your first heat there was a bit dodginess with the decision. Do you think you got it, or do you think Robert beat you?
Well, I knew it was very close, but to be quite honest, all the years I've been riding, all those decisions used to go against me. And I say in the last the last 2 weeks since I've been back racing again, I've had a couple of decisions like that where I haven't been quite sure what the referee thought of it, and each time they've awarded me the win. So they don't give you the win unless they think you've won it. So I've been delighted with those decisions. So it's both been bonuses for me.
When you first signed for Glasgow, we heard you were going there for 28 days. Is that true, or are you going to be there a little bit longer?
Well, it was 28 days to maybe 6 weeks, depending on how fit Paul Bentley recovers, you know, how he gets on with his ankle injury. I think he's going to be fit within about the next 10 days anyway, so it's a case of seeing how things go. I think the majority of people at Glasgow would like me to stay there, but
Edinburgh?
Well, I don't know about Edinburgh, but certainly Glasgow want me to stay there, and it's just a case of fitting the averages and everything, and see if they can fit me in, you know, in somehow. But I'm not over chuffed with the fact that somebody else, you know, could well have to make way for me. You know, it's just unfortunate, but that's Speedway for you.
Going over to Aidan now. Aidan, you're riding at Linlithgow tomorrow.
Yeah.
Got a maximum the last time. You were looking for much the same.
Yeah, hopefully I want a full maximum this time. I like Linlithgow. The time I come here I've done well, so hopefully I can do it again. Just make some gates and be away this time, I hope. So.
It's a great team that Buxton have got this season. Loads of youngsters, you know, like other teams in the league.
Yeah, it seems to be all having like Premier League riders really. We've been riding for about 2 years now, and we've all just got like rookies really, and just riding development and Conference League. And we're all, I think the oldest we got is about 21, and he's been riding for a while, but he ain't got that lot of experience. And we've got 15-year-olds, 16-year-olds, 17 and 18-year-olds. So, and up to now I've been doing well, and we're unbeaten up to now anyway. So.
Yeah. We're going for a win tomorrow then at Linlithgow, yeah?
Yeah, we're going to win again for sure, yeah, hopefully, yeah. As if no mechanical problems about like that.
Excellent. And you're riding on Sunday for Glasgow, Les?
Yeah, I believe we're against Workington, so I'll just see if I can try and show Stoney the way around.
Excellent. Right, thanks for talking to us, guys, and all the best for the weekend.
Okay, thank you, cheers.